Welcome to Handmade Happenings. I'm Marissa, and today is sort of a more casual video because I am doing a fabric experiment. So several months ago, I saw a video where it was mentioned kind of casually in passing that you could use alcohol markers and color on your fabric and then iron the fabric, and the heat would set the ink into your fabric. My understanding being that then, you could wash it and all that and it's not going to come out. And I was kind of like, I would kind of like to see if that really works, because, sometimes you come across information that maybe doesn't work as well, or maybe you just don't understand the concept enough to do it. Either way, I wanted to try that. And then the idea spiraled a little bit. So the thing with coloring with markers onto fabric is you either need, in my opinion at least, fabric that has an outline that you want to fill in, or you need to be able to actually draw. I don't often find fabrics with outlines that I want to color in, and I can't draw. So then I was kind of like, so what would be the point of doing this? And then I started thinking. So if you've been on this channel and watched some of my other videos, then you know I do some paper crafting, and I specifically use Stampin' Up! Supplies. And one of the reasons that I have the alcohol markers is because with stamping, if you use the Memento black ink to stamp an image that has like an outline, you can use the alcohol markers to color it in. So I was like, well, maybe this would work just as well on fabric as the markers. I can hope. I figured I'd try it while I was at it. And then the other question then became, what about the regular Stampin' Up! Ink? So they do like these classic pads. They're, I believe, water-based. And so I'm going to be trying all three of these, both one that will be ironed and one that will not be ironed, and then sticking them all in water just to see what happens. Okay, so here's my setup. I have 6 fabric samples. I have 3 that are rectangles and 3 that are circles. This is just, the shapes are to help me track which ones I'm going to iron and which ones I'm not. So I'm going to start with my alcohol marker, since that's where this whole idea started from. So that's what I'm going to start with. I'm just going to, so I remember which ones are and aren't going to be ironed. I'm going to write that on these. So that's, the squares are now going to be definitely not ironed. Alright, so next I'm going to do, I think, the Stampin' Up! Ink pads. I just have one of my Stampin' Up! Stamps. This one's a teacup. I figured something with more ink would be better than something with less ink, just so I can see, again, how it reacts. And I forgot that that actually does not have that much ink. Oh well. And then, of course, last experiment is the Memento black ink. This is the one I usually use with my alcohol markers when I'm doing card making. And I'm not sure what type of ink this is. I know the Stampin' Up! Ones are water-based. I don't know what the base is for the Memento. Okay, so I've decided to do one more experiment, and that's just going to be one with both the Memento ink and the alcohol marker on it. So I'm going to go ahead and stamp it and then color it in. Okay, so the iron is heated. I have it set on basically a cotton setting, because that's pretty much, I think, what all of these fabric scraps were. And I'm just going to iron on the back side of these because I don't want that ink touching my iron. So and I am just going to let them sit and cool for a few minutes before I start messing with them again. Everything has sat for a little while. I have my samples here. I have water. Alright, so I'm going to start with the alcohol marker that was ironed and stick it in. There's definitely some bleeding going on because my water is now pink. I don't know if maybe I was supposed to leave it to sit longer. I don't know. What I do know is I'm now going to have to go change my water, and hopefully this doesn't stain my bowl. But see, that's definitely pink water. It has definitely, I think at least, bled on those edges. You can see where there's this pink tinge around the edge. I am back with a clean bowl of water, and we're going to take the one that was not ironed and stick it in. See what it does. It is definitely also tainting the water, or tinting the water. And it may or may not be more than the other one. It kind of looks like it's more. Oh, it definitely spread though on the fabric. So you can see here, maybe, that it is more pink spreading, see down here, and like even on the edges where these threads are that are fraying, in actual, not on camera, they are pink. So moving on from the alcohol markers, I'm going to go ahead and do the Stampin' Up! Ink. This is the one that was ironed, and I'm going to just stick it in, and oh, well, that definitely, I mean almost immediately turned blue and smeared. And almost faded. It's almost like it's just going to take it right out if I do it again. Which I suppose makes sense, because if it's water-based, I feel like that just means it's going to run right out. But it's definitely faded because, oh yeah, it's almost gone now. So that definitely does not work. And this was the one that was ironed, so I don't even feel the need to switch the water before I do this one. I'm just going to stick it in. But on second dip, that one's practically gone too. At least I am eliminating ones that I'm going to have to put through, you know, a second time. In fact, look at this. The first one is like fading still. It's practically completely gone. Back again, and on to the Memento Black. Once again, I managed to already get it wet. So I'm just going to plunge this one in. Again, this is the one that was ironed. Well, it hasn't immediately toned my water black or gray. But the thing is that where I accidentally dripped on it originally, you can tell it's kind of smearing, despite not toning the water a different color. We're going to try with the one that was not ironed to see what it does. Yeah, this one's weird because this one didn't do anything. The one that had like a big drop of water drip on it kind of smeared where it dropped, and in fact it might still be smearing. You can kind of see it at the bottom of the teacup. But this one, which wasn't ironed, so you would think that it would not hold as well, seems like it's doing okay. Alright, so this is the one that was the Memento Black ink with the alcohol marker. Based on previous results, I think I can safely say it is going to turn my water pink. Oh yeah. And that actually seems like it did it faster than before. Yeah, so that stained the fabric, toned the water pink. Nothing good there. I'm just going to dip this one. I'm not going to bother with changing the water at this point because I think I know what's gonna happen. Yeah, that's also stained a lovely pink. Again, interestingly enough, the black doesn't seem to have smeared on either of these, nor did it seem to have smeared on this one, but it smeared on this one, and I'm not sure why. I don't get that. Okay, so everything's been drying for a while and not much has changed. The blue has completely faded, so that definitely did not work. Like it's gone on both of them, so that's not even worth talking about. That had the alcohol markers, both of them. I think the bleeding is more obvious now that it's dried. Like, you can really see it around those edges, and especially where it was written. So, again, I'm not going to do any more tests on that. These here with the Memento black ink are still the most interesting. See, so this one still looks pretty good. And this one wasn't ironed on. This one, on the other hand, was, and to me, I don't know if it shows up on camera, but to me, it is smudged down there at the bottom. So I don't know what the difference would be other than the fact that this one smudged when I accidentally dropped water on it during the testing, like just a big drop of water. So, because I am curious, I'm going to see if I can just drop a big glob of water on it and see what it does. I mean, to me, it's still not smearing, and I just don't get it, because I would have thought that the heat of the iron would have set this one more than this one. I am going to put these two back in, and probably these two as well, just out of curiosity. With these, I want to see if maybe that first initial run was enough to just run off the excess, and if like maybe it would stick afterwards, because if so, that's kind of like fabric dye is like that. The problem is if you're just coloring something, you're going to have this like it's going to smear all over the rest of your project, so it's still not practical. Similarly over here, if the one that isn't ironed can work, then it's still kind of pointless, because most sewing projects, one, you have to iron all of your seams and everything, and two, a lot of times, I'm thinking cotton here, it wrinkles. You're going to be ironing it at some point, so like if heat is going to cause it to do that, then it's still not any help. And I'm just going to go ahead and dip one more time. That was that one, this one. There might be, I feel like this one's starting now to smear, or honestly just to fade at the top. This is the one, again, that wasn't ironed. Maybe, I don't know. Again, it doesn't seem to show up well on camera. Alright, now for the alcohol ones, my main curiosity is, am I going to end up with pink water again? Yeah, it's tinted it a little. Not as much as before, but definitely I can see it like around the edges where the stand of the bowl is. Yeah, definitely is still tinting everything. Well, that is all of the experiments I'm going to do today. Basically, my conclusion is none of them really worked, and I will be sticking to embroidery for getting designs onto my fabric.